In 2007, underwater archaeologist until the engineers spot a disruption. A large mound rarely fractures into straight lines in tectonic zones. However, the debate rages on. As recently as 2024, fringe theories have even proposed non-human origins. But until a full excavation occurs, Yonaguni remains a geological Rorschach test. Sometimes the ocean hides civilizations. Other times, it hides monsters. Back in 1938, a fishing captain in East London, South Africa, invites museum curator Marjorie Courtney Latimer to inspect his catch. Sorting through the slime of the haul, she spots a 5-foot, bright blue fish with limb-like fins. Experts are stunned. It is a coelacanth, a species declared extinct 65 million years ago, alongside the dinosaurs. It was a living fossil, a creature that bridges the gap between fish and land animals. Marjorie's find is hailed as the zoological discovery of the century. But if a dinosaur fish can survive, what else is down there? For centuries, legends spoke of the kraken, a tentacled beast capable of crushing ships. In a small Danish village, a carcass washes ashore with a bird-like beak and 10 arms. Scientist Japetus Steenstrup identifies it not as a monster, but as a giant squid. The legend becomes reality in 1873, off Newfoundland, when fishermen are attacked by one, eventually recovering a specimen. It proved that the monsters of our nightmares are real, leaving us to wonder what other titans are still waiting in the dark. Pavel Efimov is trudging along the banks of an icy river in Yakutia, Siberia, hunting for white gold, mammoth ivory. He waits until midsummer to search, when the permafrost softens just enough to dig. It's brutal work, but the rewards are massive. But today, his luck is dry. Just as he decides to abort the mission, he spots a clump of fur protruding from the ice. Efimov races over and digs. It's not a tusk. It's a giant, severed head. At first glance, it looks like a dog, but as he chips away the ice, the scale becomes clear. It is a wolf's head, but it is monstrous. It reminds Efimov of the legendary dire wolf, a beast that vanished 10,000 years ago. At 6 feet long and 175 pounds, the dire wolf was a bone-crushing predator capable of taking down bison. Efimov takes the prize to the Republic of Saka Academy of Sciences. The biologists are stunned. The head measures 16 inches long, dwarfing any modern wolf. Carbon dating reveals a shock. It isn't 10,000 years old. It is 40,000 years old. While it isn't an American dire wolf, it is a massive Pleistocene wolf, the first fully grown, well-preserved specimen of its kind ever found. It proves that in the ancient North, wolves were far larger and far deadlier than we ever imagined. Sometimes, the danger isn't buried in the ice, it's buried beneath our feet. It's 1965. NASA is mapping the Earth from space. The threat remains. If it blows, it could bury the American West in ash and trigger a global volcanic wind preparing for the end of the world. Deep in the English countryside, a forestry worker stumbles upon a hatch hidden beneath the leaves. He has found one of Churchill's secret bunkers. These were the bases of the auxiliary units, a suicide resistance force trained to fight behind enemy lines if the Nazis invaded Britain. They were expected to survive only 12 days. Though never used, many of these bunkers remain undiscovered to this day. And also, in the Bay of Gelting off the coast of Germany, a diver removing ghost nets pulls up a strange, corroded rock. But then, he sees typewriter keys. He has found a Nazi Enigma machine. It is the holy grail of cryptography, the device used to send secret codes during World War II. Cracking this code is said to have shortened the war by 2 years and saved millions of lives. It was thrown overboard in the war's final days, waiting 75 years to remind us that the ocean never forgets. 1 year earlier than it would have ended otherwise. That is the legacy of the Enigma. So how did this crucial piece of the Nazi war machine wind up at the bottom of a bay? By the spring of 1945, the German forces are faltering. The end is in sight. Shortly before the surrender in May, the German High Command initiates Operation Regenbogen. Operation Rainbow. They order all U-boats and surface vessels to scuttle themselves, deliberately sinking their own fleet to prevent the Allies from seizing their technology. In Gelting Bay alone, Around 50 U-boats are sent to the bottom, taking their Enigma machines with them. While over 40,000 Enigmas were manufactured, fewer than 300 remain today. But instead of cashing in, the divers donate the find to the Museum of Archaeology in Schleswig. It stands there today, a corroded monument to the brainpower it took to defeat tyranny. But as one war ends, a colder one begins. And in this new war, the ground beneath your feet is a weapon. It's April 22nd, 1956. It has been pouring rain for days in East Berlin. Telephone lines are down, and Soviet authorities suspect a short circuit caused by the saturated ground. A team is dispatched at 2 a.m. to dig for the faulty wire. They dig through the mud, expecting cables. Instead, their shovels hit reinforced concrete. Curious, they break through the wall and are stunned. They find an underground chamber filled with high-tech recording equipment. They have stumbled upon a tunnel connecting communist East Berlin directly to American-controlled West Berlin. This was Operation Gold. By the time the Soviets uncover it, the CIA has already amassed 40,000 hours of recorded conversations and compiled 1,550 intelligence reports. It seems like a massive victory for the West, a windfall of stolen Soviet secrets. But 5 years later, the story twists. In 1961, Britain arrests intelligence officer George Blake. He confesses he was a double agent working for the Soviets. He reveals that he had informed the Kremlin about the tunnel years before it was even built. So if the Soviets knew, why did they let it happen? It was a cold calculation. If they destroyed the tunnel immediately, the West would know they had a mole. To protect Blake, their prized asset, they allowed the Americans to listen in. But by 1956, Premier Nikita Khrushchev needed leverage. He ordered the phone lines fixed as a cover story to stage the accidental discovery of the tunnel. The rain, the faulty wire, the surprised workers, it was all theater. In the Cold War chess match, nothing was ever an accident. Some curses are accidental, others are written in lead. In 1785, a farmer ploughing a field near Silchester spots a glint of gold. He pulls a massive ring from the soil. It is 10-sided, bearing an image of the goddess Venus and a Latin inscription, Senicianus, live in God. The ring is sold and forgotten. Decades later, 80 miles away at Lydney Park, archaeologists excavating an ancient temple to the Celtic god Nodens find a lead tablet. It is a defixio, a curse tablet. The tablet reads, "For the god Nodens, Silvianus has lost a ring. Do not allow the thief Senicianus any good health until the ring is returned." It takes a century for the connection to be made. In 1928, archaeologist Sir Mortimer Wheeler realizes the ring found in the field was the very one stolen from Silvianus. The thief, Senicianus, had reinscribed it to claim it as his own, unaware that a curse had been placed on his head. Wheeler solves the mystery, but he has help. He consults with an Oxford professor of ancient languages to analyze the inscription. That professor's name? J.R.R. Tolkien. A few years later, Tolkien publishes The Hobbit, featuring a stolen, cursed ring that changes the fate of the world. Is it a coincidence? Or did a once 600-year-old Roman grudge inspire the greatest fantasy epic ever written? We tend to believe we've conquered every corner of the globe. But if a dinosaur fish can hide in a trawler's net, and a massive stone temple can sleep unnoticed beneath a popular lake, it begs the question, what else are we walking over every single day? History isn't just written in books, it is frozen in the permafrost, buried in the silt and waiting in the dark. The truth is inextricably linked to the depth we are willing to dig. Proves monsters used to be real? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to keep uncovering the world's darkest mysteries, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what we dig up next. This is Signal 49. I'll see you in the next one.